Hello, it's Young Marvel Maniac here. Welcome to another video today. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review. This will have multiple spoilers for the movie, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it and come back to this video, because I do not want to spoil it for you, because it's such a great movie. So, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is costume design. The new Guardians suits looked awesome, and I'm sad that it's only going to be used on some of them for this movie, because they're going to get new costumes. It's going to suck, but whatever. Second, okay, so Rocket's backstory is heavily involved in this movie, so I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to say how good it is. So first off, he is a raccoon. He's an actual raccoon, like, he's not some weird space creature. He's a raccoon that was experimented on. He is Rocket Raccoon. Not Rocket the Alien, Rocket Raccoon. He's from Earth. So after I got that out of the way, um, Rocket was experimented on by, what's his name? I'll think of it later. But after he was experimented on, he was part of Batch 89. And Batch 89 included a Rocket, a rabbit named Floor, a walrus named Teeth, and a otter, and, an otter named Lila. And he was experimented on by the High Evolutionary. Kind of like makes it out, he tries to be God of, like, by creating new races. In the backstory, like, he's like the smartest one. He figures out how to help evolve group Batch 90. His number is 89, like 1P3 or something. 891P3. I don't remember exactly. I watched it on Saturday, but it's been a busy week. And so the High Evolutionary sadly kills all of them except Rocket. And that was probably one of the parts that I almost cried on. Um, so with the whole, so the Guardians in the movie, that was the backstory of him. He escapes, and the Guardians in the movie, Quilla's still, like, really sad about Gamora. Their home base is nowhere, the head of a freaking god. Like, holy crap. A celestial, whatever, but, like, Um, and so, Groot is jacked, still. If you haven't watched the holiday special, Nebula gets a new arm that was made for her by Rocket as a thank you gift for her getting him Bucky Barnes' arm in the holiday special. I don't know how she did it, but she did. And then with the and then Quill is just depressed. There's no way to put it, he's depressed. And with all of the crap going on, so right at the beginning of the movie, Adam Warlock goes into nowhere and, like, fights him, but he gets stabbed. Boo hoo. and he flies back, and it's found out that the golden race from Guardians 2, I forgot their names. They were made by the High Evolutionary. He made them as an aesthetic, like aesthetic project. Um, and the Sovereign are is the gold race. And so the High Evolutionary is trying to get 89P13. 89P13, that's what his code is. And he's trying to get Rocket back. And so Rocket is injured, and he is going to die in 48 hours if they don't get the kill code for the. He has a kill code inside of him, and they need a passcode. And so they try to get it from this one place, and like Gamora is a Ravager now. That's cool. And so with her being a Ravager, Peter's like, you didn't tell me. He's like, he tells Nebula, you didn't tell me we were working with Gamora. And so they go to the lab that created the parts for Rocket, and it's a really cool scene, like a really cool group of scenes, but they, like, sorry, I don't have a script for this video if you can't tell. I'm just going off of what I have in my brain. But they get there and they decide they get the parts. Drax like gets really injured, but that's fine. They have like these magical healing pads. I mean, okay, kind of takes the stakes off of any injury, but whatever. And so they get but the code is gone because some guy took it. And so they go to a planet where called Counter Earth. It's kind of like an Earth, but inhabited by the High Evolutionaries' latest race. And that's where he's located right now. And so they go there, and all the creatures are like really nice. And it's kind of like just like Earth, but with creature, like animal human hybrids, kind of. Well, they're highly evolutionized animal human hybrids. And so, with those animal human hybrids, they tell him where to find the High Evolutionary, and they confront him. Just Peter and Groot go confront him because Nebula gets blocked because of her freaking mechanical weapon arm. It's so cool. Go see the movie if you haven't. It's so cool. But after she gets, and then Drax and not Gamora. Gamora stays on the ship. She tries to contact the Ravager, but she accidentally contacts the main like gold girl from Guardians 2 of the Sovereign. And brings Adam Warlock to fight them. So after she stays on the ship, and um Mantis and Jax are both supposed to stay on the ship, but Jax goes anyway to go help, you know, and he convinces Mantis because Mantis is kind of stupid. He's naive, not stupid. Jax is stupid, and so they go. Peter and Groot. Groot grows wings after jumping out a window, and he grows a whole bunch of he has a whole bunch of blasters, and the High Evolutionary is like behind the wall. He's gone. Like they don't fight him, and so they get the access. They get the code. They bring it back to the ship. They feed it they but it's just Quill and Groot and Gamora. Gamora kind of fought off Adam, and she's kind of, and I don't know where she leaves him actually. It's not really explained. I think he gets to the. I think he stays on the ship somewhere. He just shows up later, and I don't know where he goes. And so they like are feeding it to Rocket, but he's dying. And so in this white void world that is actually his like cage area, like that's because that's the only place that all the people, all of his fellow subjects existed with him. Like he's talking to Lila, and she's like, "We've been flying together," and he's like, "Can I come?" And she's like, "Yes, but not yet, my sweet raccoon." And he's like, "I'm not a raccoon." And then he goes back, and he is brought back. He's like alive again, and yes, he didn't die. Rocket is one of my favorites. And so go, they call Kraglin and like, dude, you need to bring in the secret weapon to help get them off the ship and to defeat the High Evolutionary. And so they go up and try to get like Nebula, Jax, and Mantis. But Jax, Mantis, and Nebula, they find a whole bunch of kids for his next race. And they try, and she thinks like, Quill, you need to not destroy the entire ship after you get us, because there's a whole bunch of kids on here that are really intelligent. And then they bring, so the High Evolutionary captures them and put them in a cage. And so, like, they're coming in, they are going to fight. They are going to fight the High Evolutionary to, like, Peter and everyone else on the Bowie, the David Bowie ship. It's not called the David Bowie, it's just called the Bowie, but it's named after David Bowie. And so with that, they go fight. They split off into different ships. Like the Bowie turns into like 3 separate ships, and it's really cool. But Adam Warlock comes, fights him, and nowhere. It's a ship now, like a fully pilotable ship. So Kraglin fires a missile out of the eye, and then in one of and he's like, the High Evolutionary is like, send out the weapons. And it's like these really like complex creatures that are a combination of a whole bunch of creatures. And so they like go attack nowhere, and they attack the Guardians. But they get to the ship. Adam Warlock gets into the ship, and they self-destruct a part of the ship. Yeah, rip that part of the ship. And Adam Warlock's just kind of knocked out for a while. He's really childish right now. I hope that his character gets improved on later, but really, it's like whatever. And then after that, they have a hallway fight with all the Guardians because Nebula, Mantis, and Jax kind of get dropped into this place with the monster that they're fighting. With 3 of the monsters that they fought from the original Guardians movie. Like no, not the original Guardians 2, the beginning of it. I don't remember the name of that creature, but they become friends with it, and it's super cool. And they have a hallway fight, and it was so freaking good. It was one of the best scenes I have like in Marvel history, like not history. One of my favorite scenes in Marvel since like the 3 Spider-Man like swinging together. It was so good. And so they go, like, and they fight in the hallway. They go rescue the kids, and they like get them out of the ship. But Rocket, like everyone's on the ship, and then but Rocket's like they're all on nowhere, because Cosmo, the best girl, the best dog, is like holding the ship together, and Kraglin defeated all the monsters that the High Evolutionary sent because he mastered the arrow that Yondu gave him. Because he sees like Yondu, like, and he's listening to his advice of like, you gotta use your heart, man. And he masters it. It's so cool. And then all the Guardians go help Rocket get all the other animals that were in there, because they were just getting the kids to safety originally, but they got all the animals. And they help him fight the High Evolutionary, and they take off his face, which was actually a mask, to show what Rocket had clawed at him because of the murder of all of his friends. And so after that happens, um, Rocket, they all get to the ship. They kind of leave him there. They save Adam Warlock. They're all running to nowhere. But Peter's Zune, the thing that Yondu gave him, drops, and he goes back to get it. And he grabs this like pipe and he uses it as like a way to like go out into space. But he misses nowhere because Cosmo couldn't hold on any longer. And he gets stuck in space and he freezes and his face puffs up. But Adam Warlock saves him! And so after Adam Warlock saves them, they kind of just they say their goodbyes after that. They Gamora goes off with the Ravagers. So Nebula was like, I want to help rebuild Nowhere and help with these kids. And Mantis was like, I need to go. I've always been serving people. I need to go find myself. And Jax was like, I'll go with you. And she's like, no. And Nebula's like, Jax, I need you. After seeing how good you were with the kids, because he's really good with kids, I realized that you weren't meant to be a destroyer. You were meant to be a dad. Jax, the dad destroyer. Whoop. And so Peter is like, I am gonna go home to my grandpa to be with him. Because he hadn't seen him since he was 8. And whenever his mom died. So his grandpa lost his daughter and his grandson in the same day, which must have really sucked. And so after that, they appoint Rocket to be the new leader of the Guardians. They all go off on their separate ways. And then that's it for the movie. They have the credits. In the first post-credits scene, the mid-credits scene, they have the new lineup of Guardians. Rocket, Adam Warlock, Kraglin, Cosmo, but like this child of that the High Evolutionary, one of the children that the High Evolutionary created, and she has powers. I think her name's like Byla Marvel or something, or like Byla Vel. She in the comics, she's the daughter of, she's the she's a fake daughter of Marvel, the original Captain Marvel. But and like a giant Groot, like he is a giant Groot, and so because of like him hanging out with celestial beings for years, and then whenever after the and they're all kind of just like on a planet, and then they're going to fight, and they're listening to "Come and Get Your Love," the first song we ever heard for Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was like it was good. During the credits, it's playing, and then the like post credit scene is Peter at his house, like with his grandpa, and they're just kind of sitting there, and his grandpa's reading a newspaper, and on the front page it's like, alien abduction, Kevin Bacon explains all. Holiday special reference. They gotta get as many of those in as possible, I guess. But with this, with that is the end of the Guardians trilogy. The one last ride of it all. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.